Hello, I'm EG and this is Crocheting with EG. And in this video I have a yarn haul from Hobby Lobby. I got some more of their clearance yarn on their shipment day. They had a bunch of yarn. And then I went into Ollie's and they had some more of the Red Heart Super Easy. It was a new colorway I didn't expect to have in the store. So I got some of those. And then I got some crochet related things and some completely random tangents and stuff. Like I said, I'm a sucker for anything that has yarn on it, and you're going to be shocked at like the ridiculous thing I found that has yarn on it. I mean, it's utterly ridiculous that I got that. But whatever. And so it's just going to be one of my variegated videos, but I'll start with the yarn here at the beginning. And so I went into Hobby Lobby, and the story is, the day before I went into Hobby Lobby, because I go in there every single day. But I went to Hobby Lobby, and outside of the front of the store, there were two carts. And I always love that when somebody is lazy and doesn't take the cart into the store. Of course, they don't have one of those cart things on the outside of the store. So if you actually wheel the cart out to the parking lot to take your stuff to your car, they don't have one of those things that you like at the grocery store. And so people just like push the carts up there to outside of the store. And I love when they do that, because when I go into the store, I want to just get over to the remnants and not have to stay near the front of the store for anybody to notice me. And so I hate going into the store and having to turn the corner and then go over there, because they don't have the carts and the flowers anymore. They used to have all those carts over there, which was convenient for me, because I could go in the store, immediately turn right, and then go through the flowers and get a cart there, and avoid people, because I don't want to be noticed. It's hard not to. At this point, and I have a couple stories already, but whatever. So I like to just go in there and try to get over there and see if there's any yarn, and then hurry up and get out. But if I have to get a cart at the front of the store, I have to go in and then I have to turn left, and then all the noise, getting the cart out of the thing, and eventually, because there are people just kind of standing there, and they say, "Oh, welcome to Hobby Lobby," or they always say something, or they notice me, and it's not just generic people anymore. It's like the people that notice me, that have noticed me in the past. And so I always like to if there's one on the outside, some lazy person just put there, I like to grab that cart, so that I already have a cart when I go into the store. And so I was looking at the front of the store, and there were two carts sitting there, and so I thought, oh, this is perfect. And so I was walking up there, and as I was walking up there, one of the managers came out, and he was coming out of the store, and there was a cart that was near the door, because in my store there's this I have a friend's reference. It's the vestibule. That I don't know. That's what I keep calling it. But it's that glassed-in area before you get into the actual store. There's two of those doors on either side of it that automatically open, and then you go into there, and they have some usually the cinnamon smell stuff around the fall, or they have some furniture and decorations and stuff. And then from there's another set of doors that that opens to go into the actual store. Or there's two. So there was a cart that was near that door that goes into the vestibule, and then there was a cart that was sort of further away. And so that manager walked through the doors, and then he was heading over to the cart that was further away. And so I thought, okay, he's going to get that cart, and so I'm going to get this cart and take it into the store. But he was so quick that he got to the cart, and he was getting ready to get that other cart. But, I was already at it, getting it, and so he made a joke, and I mean, it's hilarious, and he has really quick wit for somebody that is a manager at Hobby Lobby. But he said, "Oh, I left one out for you because I knew you'd be coming." And I thought, oh God, this is getting so embarrassing. I mean, if I'm there that often, enough for him to have a joke ready like that. I mean, maybe he just had really quick wit, but still, it was really funny and stuff. And I laughed and said, "Oh, thank you," and laughed and went into the store. But at the same time, I was thinking later, oh God, I'm there that often that he can crank out a joke like that about how often I'm at the store. And he's not even one of the managers that has talked to me more than the other ones. I mean, he's been really nice and stuff, but I'm just thinking, God, am I here that much? I mean, it's getting really uncomfortable. I mean, it's still fun, and I'm still having fun getting the yarn and stuff, but it's just the being noticed is not something that I'm used to. If you knew my previous 40 years, this is just a completely new experience for me to go into stores and go into stores, period, and be noticed by people and stuff, and have all these conversations with some of the managers, or the custodian pushing the broom around. He's a really nice guy too, and the people that are running the registers, and I'm having all these conversations with people and being noticed. to the point where they're cracking these really great jokes about, you know, my ridiculous ass, but whatever. So I was like, oh god. But this was like the previous day, so like I was already thinking about that, you know, how sort of embarrassing to me and uncomfortable it was to me that you know, they noticed me that much that they're like making a joke about leaving a cart out for me. But then the next day when I went there and got the yarn, I had conversations with even more people. It's getting really weird. But the first day I got a fabric remnant. I'll show that later on. But the second day I went in there, it was a shipment day, and so I went in there, and it looked like they were done putting all the yarn away, and I was kind of lingering around, and the woman that was over there where the fabric was, she was pricing remnants. So because she was pricing remnants, and I didn't see any, like from far away, I didn't see any yarn in the remnant section, I thought like maybe once she's done pricing the remnants, she'll clearance yarn. I didn't even get close enough to see any yarn if there was any. So I just kind of lingered around and like was looking through the aisles, you know, where the knobs and like all that crap was. And so then I heard her start to use the price gun, and so I was thinking, please let that be the actual skeins of yarn and not the remnants. Because like with the remnants, what they do is they take a piece of paper and they wrap it around it. Let me just show this, because I can show you exactly what it looks like. But the fabric remnants, they just take a piece of paper like this, and they write like how much fabric is left and all that, and then they write the price on it. And so it's not like they have to use the price gun and put a price sticker on it. It's just like a pretty fabric remnant. I got it because it has these pretty jewels and stuff on it. I don't know what I'm going to do with this, but this was $6.92, but I got this the day before I got the yarn. So this is what they do. So like if I hear the price gun, I know that it's not going to be for the remnants, it's going to be for the clearance yarn. And so I heard that price gun, and so I lingered around, and once it stopped, I was like looking through like a freaking stalker. Like, talk about, you know, them making me feel uncomfortable. Like if they like turned around and looked through one of the shelves, you know, even one time, they would be like as uncomfortable as I feel when they notice me in the store, because they're gonna think, what is he like looking at me like through the shelf for? Because I'm always like, you know, kind of lingering. I mean, I'm never like just staring through the shelf, but like I'm sort of walking through there, and then I can like look out of my peripheral vision, and you know, kind of look and just kind of glance over. I've caught their eye a few times, not when they're like in the middle of clearancing the yarn, but like when they're just kind of lingering around and like putting the yarn on the shelves, because I'm just like, kind of like glancing through just to see if they're, you know, in the process of being done, and they might be up clearancing the yarn. And so I've caught their eye a few times, so it's not like they'd be shocked if they, you know, saw me looking at them again. But anyway, so I was like looking through the shelf, and I saw the woman pushing a cart towards the remnants, and I was hoping there would be yarn in it because I heard the price gun and everything. So I kind of lingered around, and I went on the other side of the flowers, and I waited there for like a minute, because I thought, you know, that would give her time to like put the yarn on the shelves and all that kind of stuff. And so then I turned the corner, and then, you know, she was like walking away. And so again, like I feel like I'm waiting like a minute or two, but I'm probably waiting like, you know, 20 seconds, because I don't want to like walk over there right as they're putting it on the shelves. I mean, I want to, but I would never do that, because I don't want them to feel uncomfortable unless they like, you know, turn around and see me staring at them through one of the shelves. But I never want to like walk right over to them, so I wait for them to walk away, and then I walk over there and grab all the yarn and stuff. So there was 19 skeins in the remnants. There were 2 skeins that I didn't get. There was a cozy occasion in there. I think it was just kind of like a generic like ivory color, and then there was a crafty secret cotton. It was in like America red, white, and blue colors, like patriotic colors. So but I didn't get it because, you know, the being a crafty secret cotton. But I got all the rest. But the rest of the story. So I got the yarn, and it was in my cart, and I went up to the register, and or before I went up to the register, what I like to do, and I've said this in previous videos, is I try to make it easier on the people checking me out, because like I'm getting a whole lot of yarn and stuff. And so what I like to do is I try to group it as best I can into the prices, so that like the $1.24 skeins are all together, so I could just like put all those up there, so that they can just see like, oh, there's 7 skeins that are $1.24, and they just can put like, you know, 7 times $1.24 and all that, so that I'm not just like, you know, handing them a skein and then they, you know, price that one, and they have to like put in every single price individually, because they don't have barcodes. But while I was waiting in line, there was this couple ahead of me, and this older couple, and the guy turned around and he noticed what was in my cart, of course, because I had all this yarn sitting in it, all sorted and everything. And then he said, well, you're going to be busy. And then I said, yeah, and we were talking about the yarn. And then he said, he asked what I crocheted. And then I was, you know, telling him some of the stuff that I crocheted. And then he didn't say anything. And then his wife said, oh, he's hard of hearing. And the only reason I'm saying this is because I had to talk a little bit louder to the man, because, you know, he was asking about what I crocheted. and what I use the yarn for and stuff. And it's relevant because I was talking so loud. I mean, it's not like I was screaming at him or anything. Like it's not like I was, you know, being that loud, but because I was talking a little louder than I normally do, we had this nice conversation and stuff. But it was noticeable that somebody was talking about crochet and yarn and stuff. And so there was this woman standing over there. There was another register right there, and so there was this woman standing there, and she wasn't like running the register. She was just like one of the employees or whatever. And so all I heard was she goes, "So you're the one that gets all the clearance yarn," and like I thought, oh God, because I thought, oh shit, because like the joke in my head is like that's the thing that I'm going to hear in the future, like right before somebody stabs me in the neck with a knitting needle, like except it's going to be like, so you're the one. It's going to sound like that. But you know, when she said that, I thought, oh crap. But I mean, she was really nice about it and everything. And but I just thought, oh God, you know, somebody's noticing that I get all the clearance yarn. And but we had this really nice conversation. She was so nice. Like I said, all the stuff that I talk about, it's all in my head. You know, like all the scenarios about like, you know, people confronting me or like all that. It's all in my head. I mean, all these people are so nice and stuff. And she's like, if anybody had any reason to like, you know, confront me about the yarn, it would have been her, because she was talking about how she crochets and she loves yarn and all that kind of stuff. Like if anybody would have had the right to confront me about it, it would have been her. But she was so nice, and she was talking about the yarn. And there is a skein of that Crafter's Secret acrylic in here, and I love that she was talking about how nice this is too, because I've said in previous videos, it's such nice acrylic yarn. It's a shame that they don't have more variegated colorways in those like big skeins. It's this big skein like this. But she was saying, oh yeah, they must have just clearance that because the label came off, and because she was talking about how nice this yarn was, and I said, I know this is so nice, and it doesn't split at all. Well, we just had this really nice conversation about like, you know, crochet and yarn and stuff, and she was asking like, well, what I crocheted, and then she said, so what do you do with the yarn? Do you crochet with it or whatever? And I said, yeah, and then she said, do you sell any of it? And I said, well, I intend to like sell some of my crochet in the future and stuff, but I don't sell the yarn. But we just had this really nice conversation and everything. But it was just funny because like the second she said that, like later on I was thinking like that's going to be the last thing I hear from whoever is out there in the future that's going to stab me with a knitting needle, but whatever. And so it was just another like another person that like noticed me in the store or whatever. But I thought, God, it's getting like so like overwhelmingly embarrassing for me. That's what it is. I'm uncomfortable. I'm uncomfortable in every situation. It's not that they're not making me uncomfortable. All kinds of crap makes me uncomfortable. So I'm not saying that they're making me uncomfortable, because I can get uncomfortable with so many other things that you wouldn't think would be uncomfortable. What it is it's I feel embarrassed almost, like going in there. I mean, I love getting all the yarn and stuff. It's not gonna make me not get it, but just going in there so often and getting to the point where, you know, people are noticing me enough to like, you know, have a joke to say about an empty cart, or to notice me like that while I'm like going through the line at the store or whatever. It's just it's uncomfortable and a little embarrassing at this point. But thankfully, you know, everybody in there is so nice and stuff. It makes it a little easier and stuff. The uncomfortableness and the embarrassment is on my part. But anyway, like I said, this was the Crafter's Secret acrylic. I don't know what colorway this is. They didn't write the colorway name on it, but it's the Crafter's Secret acrylic. And like I said, this is such nice yarn. I mean, it's really nice and soft and just like so easy to work with. Every single skein that I've ever used. It's just a shame that they don't have a whole lot of variegated colors. I think they have one that is Christmas colored, and then they have this one that is kind of like an ivory with a little bit of tweed in it. But otherwise, it's just like a bunch of solids. I mean, it's really nice yarn and everything. But I just wish that they had like giant skeins like this of this really nice yarn of like, you know, colorways like this. I mean, you know what I mean? But they just don't have any variegated. But this was a regular $11.99. It's kind of worth it. 30% off, of course. But it's worth it because of how nice this yarn is, and you get a whole lot. But the clearance price was $2.99, so $3 for this. Cheaper than a regular skein like this on the 30% off week. That's how I see it in my head. So even though it was $3, and when I'm used to like $1.24 skeins, it's a really good deal for this yarn. So I got that for $3. And they had one of these Baby Be Cuddly one in the color Surf Baby. It's like a mix of white and like a really vibrant kind of turquoise teal color. So there's that one. A regular $7.99, got it for $1.99. And like I said, I feel like I might want to use this yarn. I get this kind of yarn from my niece, but like I have so much of this. I feel like I want to use this kind of yarn, like the cuddly ones, to make her a really, really pretty rug. Because I have that really thick yarn that I think is yarn B too. That is going to be for a rug. rug, but then there's a lot of this kind, and she would love that rug even more than the other one. I mean, it would take longer because this is a thinner yarn. I mean, it's thick yarn, but it's thinner than that thick yarn that I had gotten. But I think that this would be the rug that she would take home, and then the other one she would just stick in her playroom or whatever. But I think that's what I want to use this yarn for. All of these colorways. I have a couple that are icy pastels, and I think there's a purple one over there. I do have a lot of this cuddly one that was supposed to be for her, but I mean, it's technically going to be for her if I make it into a rug. But you know what I'm saying. So $1.99 for that. And then a skein of this Yarn Bee Dream Spun in the color Tuscany. I've gotten some of these before. It's a bulky 5, and it's the kind that has wool in it, but it's only 20% wool. It's like super wash wool, and it's actually soft for being yarn that has wool in it. The rest of it is acrylic. But it has these really pretty, kind of like southwestern colors, teal and orange and a little bit of green, and really nice chunky yarn. So there's that one. This one was regular $5.99. Got it for $1.49. And then a Baby Bee Sweet Delight in the color Teal 2, like teal, comma, T-O-O, with an exclamation point. It's just like a really pretty blue color. This one, it was a regular $5.99, got it for $1.49, so there's that one. And then a Pearl Spun. Yarn Bee Pearl Spun in the color Hazy Hazel. It's kind of like a rosy pink. Kind of like a darker, almost grayish kind of pink, if you know what I'm saying. But this was regular $3.99, got it for 99 cents. Really good deal on that. And then a skein of, I love this cotton in the color Harvest. It has some oranges and kind of reddish pinks and a little bit of like blue in there too, just barely. But really nice cotton skein. Regular $3.99, got it for 99 cents. So that's the first tiny little bag. It just feels tiny because these skeins are so damn big. That's the only, I mean, I love this yarn, especially this yarn. I'm glad I got this, but at the same time, these skeins are so obnoxiously big. I prefer like the smaller skeins, just, I mean, space-wise, just because these are just so obnoxiously big, and luckily I have something to do with these kind of yarns. And I'm going to try to get those rugs done so that I can use up this yarn, so that I don't have to figure out where to store all this yarn or whatever. At least I have like an idea in mind of like what to use this for. And it didn't take that long to make that, that frustrating Uberlux rug. I mean, it is just like going around in a circle and stuff. But anyway, so that's the first bag of yarn. And then these are all the ones that were $1.24. The regular $4.99, got it for $1.24. So I love this yarn. It's just a solid, the color turquoise. So it's like a pretty turquoise color. And then one of these blue ones. I love this yarn in the color Stonewash. So Stonewash blue. I do have a lot of this Stonewash, but I went ahead and got it anyway, because you can't pass up a deal like that. $1.24 skein. So Stonewash blue. And then this green one, which was obviously clearance because it's all messed up. Perfectly good yarn. But I love this yarn in the color Jelly Bean. And again, I don't know why this one's called Jelly Bean. Because like when you think of jelly beans, or when I think of jelly beans, I don't mean to like generalize. When I think of jelly beans, I think of like, tons of colors. Like you would think Jelly Bean would be the colorway name of like a variegated skein. But like Jelly Bean, why is a green color like called Jelly Bean? I have no idea, but that's what that one is. Kind of like a vibrant green color called Jelly Bean for some reason. And then a purple one. This one is called Grape. Really a pretty purple. Like their purple is a little more dull than this. Like the grape, this color is called Grape. This is the purple that I love, the kind of purple like this. The ones that the one that is called purple is not this kind of shade, and this is just, this screams purple in my head, the kind of purples that I love. And they had another one of those donut balls, Yarn Bee Soft and when I say another, I mean because of all the previous hauls I've gotten. Yarn Bee Soft and Sleek DK, and the color is Irish Rain. So it's one of these kind of green. See, hopefully you can see it in the camera, or if you've heard me say it over and over and over again in my videos, you've gone into your Hobby Lobby and you could see one of these in person. I mean, just look at how many different shades of the color is in this, and kind of the effect. Like, see that? I mean, it's unbelievable how this this yarn is. It's really thin. I think it's a light 3, but at the same time, it's a gorgeous yarn, and I need to figure out what to use this for. Now that I use that little tiny crochet hook with that that anti-pilling yarn, it was a 3mm crochet hook. I think this actually recommends a bigger hook than that. This actually recommends a 4.5mm, even though it's a light 3. I mean, it's about the same thickness or whatever, but if I can use that 3mm crochet hook with that other yarn, then I'll definitely be able to use this. Like, I don't know why I have this aversion to like thin yarn or whatever. I prefer the medium 4s and even the bulky 5s. I just have it in my head that like thin yarn is hard to work with, but it wasn't. I guess it just depends on the yarn too. And then the 6 that are left in this bag, all these are the variegated skeins. So I love this yarn and the color walnut. So it's like a kind of a tannish mix, different shades of tan. A really nice mix of colors there. And then this one, I love this yarn. This reminds me of that Premier Bloom Chunky Big or whatever that I used to make my mom's bed jacket. It reminds me, like the colors kind of remind me of that. It kind of reminds me of like the color of flowers, you know what I'm saying? Like even the green and like the stem, and then like purples and blues and pinks. It just kind of reminds me of like flowery kind of colors. And then this one is called Sugar Plum Stripe. And then I love this yarn print in the color Mahogany Singe. I love this. I mean, it's like a brown color. I'm not usually into brown stuff, but I love when they take a color and they mix black in it. I just love that effect with colors and yarn and stuff. So there's that one, and then this one, I love this yarn print and the color Sunset. It has purples and greens and orange and a little bit of gray in there, and just a lot of really nice colors. A little more muted than like a really vibrant skein, but a really nice mix of colors. So there's that one. And then I love this yarn print in the color Oasis Beat. It's kind of this mix of these different shades of blue. This is one of those where I've talked about in previous videos that sometimes Hobby Lobby's yarn, most of the time it's really nice and significant and really substantial yarn. But sometimes for some reason the yarn comes out like thinner, and it comes out really soft, like extra soft and kind of floppy or whatever. But it's also like thin. I mean, it's still the same specs and everything I'm medium for, but it just feels like the skeins like this that are more rare than like the regular ones. I mean, even the size, you can kind of tell just how like much smaller. They just look smaller too. I mean, and they're shinier and softer and all that, but like at the same time, like the weight of the yarn, it feels thinner. I mean, it really does. And I mean, it's extra floppy and everything too, but still, I can't see myself using these skeins that are more rare than like the regular ones with like a yarn like this, because I just feel like this almost feels like a thicker Yarn Bee Soft Secret. The shininess and everything. You see that? I mean, hopefully you can tell like just the difference in this crappy camera. See, this is like just a regular yarn, a little bit more like matte finish or whatever, and more substantial. But then this, I mean, it's extra shiny and pretty and extra soft. But see how like the difference? It just seems like it would be silkier or like harder to work with than the regular ones. I don't know. But luckily the ones that are like this are more rare than the other ones, and so this is just kind of like a fluke thing. I don't know. And then I saved the best for last. I love this yarn print in the color Meadow Dance. I love this. So many vibrant colors in this. I mean, look at all the different colors in that. I mean, greens and blues, yellow, pink, purple, and this is a gorgeous colorway. Like I said, the colorways like this in their store, they're just unbeatable. I mean, what other store has a colorway like this? I mean, I love that. So that's the haul from Hobby Lobby. Did I need the yarn? Of course not. Like I said in previous videos, nobody really needs yarn, but if I'm going to see it at this price, I'm going to grab it up. Whether I have a knitting needle to my neck in my future or not. Oh, and that story about the cart or whatever, if that sounds familiar, I did post that in my community tab on YouTube, and because I thought it was funny at the time, that guy saying that joke when I was getting that cart or whatever. And while I was in there, I'd gotten that fabric remnant and all that, but when I was looking around the store, and I hate to even like put this out there, but I already put the other crochet out there in a video, but I talked about in another video how it's kind of bothering me that like especially Hobby Lobby, who carries the stuff to make this, make the crafts and crochet and stuff that we make. It's bothering me that they're getting in all this like mass-produced crochet, and I show like all the stuff in the flowers and like those flowers on sticks and the little amigurumi looking things on sticks to like put in flower arrangements or like whatever. And so they have those, and I was looking in the spring stuff, and they had some little dangling things, like they look like little amigurumi. I mean, of course it was cute. It was like a little frog or a little pig or like whatever the hell, like these little tiny amigurumi looking things and the spring stuff. So I did take a video of it, but at the same time I feel bad even like putting it out there because people, I guess because I'm a crocheter, I know what goes into making that stuff. I don't make amigurumi, but at the same time, I've seen videos. I know the amount of work and stuff, and the amount of pride that crocheters put into their work and stuff. And it just feels like Hobby Lobby is selling that kind of stuff that no other crocheter could compete with. Like the people that go into their store, it just feels like they're competing with their customers. I mean, yeah, most people that go into those stores, they're not buying this stuff to make things to sell, but the crafters do that kind of stuff. They buy stuff and of course they have fun for themselves, but they also have the desire to make crafts and sell them and stuff, and Hobby Lobby knows that. And so for them to sell like pre-made crocheted stuff cheaper than anybody could ever compete with, it's just kind of crappy. But you know what I'm saying. I've already talked about that in another video. But like I said, I went to Ollie's and I found some more of that Red Heart Super Easy yarn. The Big Twist and the other one, that Raspberry Blush, they were still in the boxes, but they just took those boxes that were over there on those area rugs, and then they put them on that freestanding shelf. It's weird how the yarn is like so like deep into a corner over there. You would think that yarn would be I mean, I know it's just yarn and stuff, but it's like a maze. You have to like walk back in there into the corner or whatever just to get to the yarn. And then what they did was they have the boxes of yarn there on that kind of freestanding shelf thing, like way in the corner, like where the rolled up carpet is. And so like you would never think to, I mean, they had like this flag that's like sticking up, but at the same time, most people aren't going to even go towards the carpet because they think, oh, there's just like carpet over there. But they have that. And then while I was back there, and then I noticed that there's an end cap on one of those shelves that's like facing the wall, and like you would never think that end cap was back there, and they actually put a whole bunch of yarn on it, and I took a video of it, and they put some of the Red Heart Super Easy there. It was the Aran, and then I guess they had opened up some of the boxes back there, and there was a brown color there too. I didn't get that either, but I didn't get any of the Aran, and I didn't get any of the brown, but it was nice to see that they had those too. But it's just weird how they stuff that end cap full of yarn and stuff, but it's just so out of the way. It's just like facing a wall or whatever. You would never think that was back there. But it was nice to see that they had more yarn back there. But on that shelf with that Aran and the brown, which as I'm looking at this, it probably would match these skeins. But I would rather get the ones that are like vibrant or like variegated in some way. It's the Red Heart Super Easy stripes, and the colorway is called Bonfire. I mean, it really like this fiery orange, and it has like some yellow and a little bit of like a gold and like a brown in it too. So yes, this would probably match those brown and the Aran or whatever, or at least the brown. I don't know if the brown down in there is the same shade as the skeins of brown, but the orange on the outside is this really bright, like fiery orange. It's just like a gorgeous colorway. So I got 2 of those, and they were $4.99, and I had my 10% off coupon with me, so it was 10% off of this. So they were $4.49, so I saved 50 cents a piece on these. But those were the only 2 I got. And then, like I said, I got something utterly ridiculous just because it had yarn on it. And this is a store that in my town, it's kind of like one of those stores that gets all those pallets in, but they don't just like throw all the stuff in a bin or like on tables and stuff. It's actually really organized in that store, and they have all kinds of really interesting things in there. But it comes in on pallets and stuff, because they've gotten pallets before where they say like if you want to buy this pallet, it's like a couple $100 or like whatever. But then most of the time they open it up and it's like a really nice little thrift store. And so I follow them on social media, and they posted this picture, and in the picture, what they do is every week they have like stuff on sale. And in one of their pictures, it looked like something with a ball of yarn on it, and I couldn't really tell what it was. But then when I looked at the picture that they posted, and it listed all of the things and like the prices of like the discount prices, the stuff on sale that week, they listed something that said napkins, and I thought maybe this is because like the stuff around the things on that shelf was like a party stuff. And so I thought, are these like napkins with balls of yarn on it? And that's what they were. And these were on sale for, they were the regular price in their store, what they priced them at when they first got them, was $1 a piece, which would have been a good deal. I probably would have spent it because it's so adorable. But they were on sale for 30 cents a piece, and so I got every single one of them. I mean, they're ridiculous. I guess they're napkins for like a puppy kitty themed party or whatever, because it says party pups and kittens, and so I guess it's for like a a cat themed party or whatever, like, you know, somebody that wants to have a birthday party with or somebody ridiculous like me. So of course, like a cat themed party or whatever, like the napkins would look like a ball of yarn. So this is what they look like. I mean, look how adorable this is. I don't need these freaking napkins or whatever, but I don't know what I'm going to do with them. Like, I wish I was eating in the middle of eating something and I could wipe my face with it. I don't know, but they're just adorable little napkins, and see, they're all like shaped like balls of yarn. And I'm sorry, I got like all of these. They were 30 cents a piece. I couldn't believe it. There's 16 napkins in each one of these. Like, it makes me want to have like a yarn-themed party or something, just to have an excuse to use these napkins. But I wouldn't want to use them. No, I have so many of them. But they're just adorable little paper napkins and stuff, shaped like a ball of yarn. So if one of the, you know, 18 people watching this video right now runs a business or whatever, and, you know, makes mass-produced products, take note, people. If you put yarn on anything, I'll end up buying it, no matter what it is. I'm just a sucker like that. But they also had a couple other things. They obviously this was from Dollar General. Sometimes they get stuff in that is obviously from Dollar General, like Dollar General leftovers. There's some Target leftovers that were in there. But this was one. It looked like one of those fairies that was in Dollar General. Yeah, see the price sticker down here, like the $5 price sticker, that's the Dollar General sticker. And then they put $3 on this, just like one of these fairies. Like I said, I love these fairy kind of things, and my niece does too. We have tons of fairies in this house. This house is really magical. And there's a fairy house in there. I'll have to show that in the future. But there's all kinds of fairies in this house. But this is a really adorable little fairy with little bunnies and stuff. And then they had this poster. It's a Friends poster. This was only $1. And I didn't open it yet, but hopefully I can show the picture. But it has all these quotes from Friends and all these screen caps. It says, you know, pivot, how you doing? And then one of those little name tag things that says, hello, my name is Regina Phalange. And then could I be wearing any more clothes? And then I know, like, you know, Monica. It has all these pictures from Friends and a really cool poster. I do have a lot of Friends stuff. It's weird that I never thought I would get so much Friends stuff. But they do have a lot of it out there. So this is only $1. And then the only other thing is they had some Pride stuff, obviously from Target, because it has the Target logo on it. And I didn't need this stuff, but like I said, I'm a sucker for that kind of stuff. You know, if a store carries anything Pride related, I'm gonna buy it, no matter how tacky the stuff is. I mean, they did have like a teapot. I didn't get a teapot because I don't even have a freaking teapot, but I did get this mug and then some of these little flags and stuff. But I just thought this store especially. I mean, you know, like Michael's and all these other stores that carry Pride stuff. At Walmart sometimes, although there was one year that didn't have any of the Pride stuff, or at least in my store. But I just feel like, you know, big chains like that, it's one thing for them to carry Pride stuff, which is a good thing. But this store, like, they don't need to carry this stuff. They probably got in like a whole bunch of Target stuff, and then they could have very easily, you know, saw this Pride stuff, like, oh, let's throw that gay stuff away. Like, they could have very easily thrown all that stuff away. But for them to even put this in their store, whether they support the community or not, that they actually put this stuff in their store to sell, and like knowing that there are going to be people in there, they're going to be pissed off, like walking by and think, oh, I got, what are they selling? This gay stuff anymore. Like, you know what I'm saying? The fact that they even put this in the store made me want to buy it, even though I don't need this stuff at all. One thing is this mug. It's a Target Pride mug. This was $3. And they had like a matching teapot, but I don't need a freaking teapot. And then they had some stickers that had to do with tea, because like, it feels like such a modern gay thing to say, like, you know, spill the tea kind of thing. I'm too old to say that. I look like an idiot, but I'm guessing that's why they had a freaking teapot to match this. But it's just like a mug, and the handle is like a rainbow. So there's like a Target mug, and then all these like flag things. Like, I didn't need these flags. I mean, they're not even flags for me. Like the gender queer flag, and the bi pride flag, and the trans, and the lesbian. Like, I'm not a lesbian. Like, I don't need these freaking flags. But I thought that they have these in the store. These were 50 cents a piece, these flags. And they had this one. It's like the trans, and it has like 3 flags in it. And this pack was $1.50. So they had this stuff. I just thought, if they're going to stock this in the store, I'm going to support them for even carrying this stuff, because they could have very easily thrown it away. So I got that. But mainly, the only reason I went to the store is because I wanted to get these freaking napkins. So I'm glad I went there and got all those. And then I found a couple other random things. And then I went to Goodwill, and the only thing they had in there, other than this shelf, like I dragged this in here, and then I sat down to do the video, and I thought, Why the hell did I drag this shelf in here? It was so stupid. Because I don't need to say, oh, look at this shelf. But I got this like a little side table thing. Like, see, you can't even see it in the video. I'm such an idiot, but whatever. But it's a really nice little side table. It was priced at $5. And when I went up to the register, because I've got this book, it pushed me over the $100 limit, and it took $5 off. So I felt like that side table was basically free. But the book I got was one from my mom. It says, We Interrupt This Broadcast, and it has 2 CDs of like radio broadcasts of like important news events throughout history. And the only reason I got it is because there's a broadcast about when John Lennon was assassinated, because my mom loves the Beatles, and I thought this can go with her Beatles collection. But it has a section in here about his assassination and everything. And in the back are the 2 CDs with the audio broadcasts on there. I just thought that was kind of interesting. There's a whole lot of really big events in this. I don't even know if you can see it in this crappy camera, but this is the list of all the events in those audio broadcasts and stuff. But I just got it for my mom because of the whole John Lennon thing. But it was only $2 Goodwill, so it's a good deal. And the fact that they even have the CDs in there. There have been books like this, and not about audio broadcasts or anything, but like books that are supposed to have like a CD or a DVD in it, and you open it up and it's not in there anymore. So the fact that these are even in there is like a really big deal. So I got this for my mom at Goodwill. Well, I guess that's going to be all for this video. I hope you enjoyed looking at one of my ridiculous hauls from Hobby Lobby and all the other things that I got. Especially those ridiculously adorable napkins or whatever. I couldn't believe it. That was more exciting than finding the yarn in Hobby Lobby. It really was, because they're just adorable. I love all that stuff. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. Like and subscribe, comment down below, and I'll see you in the next one.